Hello once again, everyone, and welcome back to another vlog. So, what am I doing today? So, after I posted my first vlog, I did a bit of research. I was looking up videos that other writers, booktubers, or whatever you want to call them, were doing to kind of get inspiration for the type of content that I wanted to make. And I came across the channel run by Lindy Jung, who she did a couple videos where she did trying to follow like a couple like authors daily routines, like Ursula K. Le Guin, for example. And I thought about that and I was like, it made me think, if I were to be a full-time writer, what would be the schedule that I would do? And so I thought I'd go ahead and try to do that myself. Now, I'm not exactly sure if this would be a schedule that I would do every day. The YouTuber Tapioca Press made me aware of the concept of Parkinson's law, which is that work spreads or like shrinks based on the amount of time available to do it. So if you have more time to do it, you're going to end up stretching out the amount of work instead of having more free time. So yeah, I don't think that this would be something that I would do every day. I'm not exactly sure if it'd be super sustainable, but I am going to try it just to kind of get a better visual, I suppose. So the first thing that we're supposed to do, and I'm already 10 minutes late into doing so because I forgot to factor in time for recording in my schedule, is to exercise, because I really need to do that because I am very out of shape for various reasons, which I'll talk about in a bit. So I'll be right back. And I am back. I don't know if you can tell by my voice being a bit, thinner than normal, but I just finished my workout. Hold on, let me adjust my party hat here. There we go, now we're looking nice and stylish. But anyway, I just finished my workout. I did a 30-minute cardio, no jumping workout by Imi Wong, and then I did a 10-minute yoga cool down. I mean, I've kind of fallen out of shape for a number of reasons. So I've, for the past 3 months, actually been in between employment. I used to work at a school as a office assistant type thing. That wasn't a job that I did because it was my dream job to work as an office assistant at a school, but it was what I had and it paid. So the thing is I think they kind of knew that I wasn't planning on staying there forever, because not only was it not a dream job, but I wasn't really making a whole lot of money at all. In fact, I was losing money. And so I think they kind of secretly low-key was doing interviews without letting me know, just in case, because whenever people talked about it, I only heard them talk about it once, but they weren't really specifying what the job was. It was this new part-time job that they were expanding upon. I thought it was a little suspicious. And then towards the end of the year, they asked if I wanted to do it again, and I was honest with them. I was I'm not sure if I can. I gave them a maybe, because again, I was losing money doing the job. At the end of the school year, they had a staff meeting, and they're oh yeah, so MHJ Makes is leaving. Hey, we're gonna give him all this nice stuff. Bye. And I was okay. So I guess I kind of got fired without really being fired. So anyway, the past few months, I've been living on savings and prayers. And so my apartment building does have a gym, but I've been kind of scared to go to it because it's attached to the leasing office, and they see me regularly going there. They're why aren't you working? Where are you at? And I'm oh, because I'm in between jobs. They're okay, now we're going to kick you out and you're going to be on the street. Goodbye forever. Also, just exercising kind of makes you need to eat more, and I'm not super big. I mean, I've lost a bit of weight over the past month or so. I need to eat a lot, and exercising makes me eat more, and because I need to eat more, that means spending more money on food, and I've been trying to stretch things out. So I've been kind of being a bit more selective with my spending with my exercising. I mean, unfortunately, that's just how it is. But anyway, with that being said, this clip has gone on for far too long. I mean, there's going to be some cuts here and there, but I'm gonna go ahead and go on to my next stage, which is to have some breakfast, because I just exercise. I need to replenish myself so that my muscles can, properly rebuild themselves. And I'm tired, but I'll see you in a bit. Okay, so I just finished having breakfast, and I very much needed that because, oh my god, I was so hungry after exercising. It's really unfortunate that I have one of those things where I have like a really, really high metabolism, because like I just need to eat so much. And they say, I don't know, like people were saying that like, that starts to slow down when you get to like your late 20s, but like I'm 28 and like it doesn't really seem like it's slowing down. And also like according to research anyway, or what I have researched, I'm not an expert on this, like it seems like most people, like the whole thing of like your metabolism slowing down is actually high-key kind of exaggerated, because it seems like it's only like a couple percentage points like a decade. Like anyway, yeah. This whole thing has really made me realize just how much I need to get into exercising. It's so hard, especially with cardio. Because like, when you don't have like a whole lot of equipment, like all you're left with is kind of just running, and I don't like running. I wish I had the money and the the space to get a Peloton, because honestly, like, low-key, the streamer Northern Lion, it's kind of got me a bit Peloton pilled, but unfortunately, I am poor. Well, okay, just to clarify, I am poor cosplaying, okay? Like, I grew up actually, like, fairly, like, well off. But, like, I was one of those people that, like, I was actually, like, quite bougie, but, like, I didn't think that I was, because, like, I didn't have, like, like, a yacht. We weren't that type of rich, but we were very well off. And I also think that, because, like, my parents, like, they grew up, like, working, especially my dad, they grew up working class, so, like, I didn't grow up with that, like, rich person's mentality. But yeah, I was very much like a rich person in denial, and now as an adult, as someone who's not strictly living off of mommy and daddy's money, I'm starting to come to terms with just how bougie I actually am. Like, I am really not cut out for this, like, my post-college adult life, which has been perpetually broke. So broke. Doing nice things on occasion, but like, so broke. Anyway, random rant aside, now it's time for me to start writing, because I am 15 minutes late. Let's get to writing. Okay, so I just finished writing for the hour. Well, I guess technically it's been more like 45 minutes, but it's fine. I just finished a scene, and I'm getting actually fairly close. I think I'm about like 75% done with this initial draft of the chapter. Obviously, I'm gonna have to be doing a bit of editing to change a few scenes, work through the pacing, maybe kind of strengthen certain moments. Because like the previous chapter the scene that I just finished, it's okay. But I think I could probably add a few more things to it, right? Just to make sure that the impact is what it needs to be, I think. Just a few things here and there, but I think it's good to kind of like take a step back after you finish a scene and then come back to it like maybe even a day later. In this case, it's actually going to be a few hours later, come back with like a fresh perspective. I find it can be very easy when you're writing to kind of not write anything, because what you're writing isn't exactly the thing that you have in your head. It's not exactly perfect, especially like your initial draft. But when you sit there doing nothing, you get like analysis paralysis. You start procrastinating because of perfectionism. That's no good. I think it's better to write a mediocre scene that kind of gets the job done for your initial draft, that you can edit, that you can go back to and edit and strengthen, than to write nothing at all and just keep that perfect vision in your head, because that perfect vision just doesn't exist. One thing I want to say is, so it's noon right now, I just feel so productive. Like, I've done so much today. Oh, actually, I haven't really done like a whole lot, but like it feels like I've done so much today, and it really just makes you motivated to just want to keep doing things. The issue is that I could see myself kind of abusing, like following this schedule too much, and at the expense of other things. Like I think probably if I were to do the schedule, it'd probably be like an every other day type thing. I'd have like the strict schedule one day, and then like the next day I'd kind of do something a little bit looser, where maybe I have like an hour dedicated to writing and an hour dedicated to like administrative stuff, but kind of just being able to be a bit more free flow, so that that way I'm capable of actually, you know, living life outside of being a writer, you know. I'm curious to see if I'll be able to keep up this momentum for the rest of the day. For now, I'm going to go ahead and shower because I stinky, because, well, one, I just need to shower, but also because I exercise. So I'll be right back. Why are you not steaming, dude? I need to get a better iron. Oh, now you want to steam, mofo. Let's see how it is. Oh, there's the steam. So the trick is I just have to shame you into doing it, and then you can do it for me. Okay, cool. No, I know. Hello once again. I am back. You like this guts picture in the background? That's not mine. It actually really isn't. If you watch the previous vlog, IYK, you know. So it's actually 2 p.m. and you're wondering, did it really take me 2 hours to shower and stuff? No, it did not. Actually, I was supposed to do an update at 1 p.m. But I like to say that I forgot to film, but the reality is that after I got out of the shower, I put chapstick on my lips, and I was like, wait a minute, I have this fresh chapstick on. If I put this mask on, like, that's just not gonna work. So I was like, I'm just gonna wait for it to absorb into my skin, so that now I could actually do it. So yeah, that's what happened. So anyway, from 1 to 2, that's what I call administrative work / checking emails. Which, if I was big and successful, I'd be communicating for brand sponsorships and, you know, talking about collaborations for larger projects and the like. But at present, I don't really have any of those types of emails just yet. So I actually just spent the time just applying for job positions because I like to have money. I found this really interesting, like, part-time job that I really want to do. I thought that would work well my career and what I want to do. And I was like, well, if I can get this part-time job, then I'll just maybe find another part-time job. I'd be doing a couple part-time jobs and then kind of focusing on writing like full force. So that's kind of the plan right now. I'm not sure if that made sense, but anyway, now it's 2 p.m. and now it's time for me to go for writing phase 2, which is probably going to be mostly just doing some additions to the scene that I talked about earlier and make it just a little bit more impactful. And then from there, we'll see. And I am done writing for this section anyway. I'm running out of like places to film. Like I'm trying to make it interesting just so it's not like a white wall like the whole time, but like when you're filming indoors it's very difficult. But like I can't film outdoors because like could you imagine me filming dressed like this? Yeah, so I just finished writing. I added a couple of details to the previous section that I think make it feel better, and now I'm moving on to the next section. Yeah, I might actually be finished with like the first like initial draft of it by maybe Monday. And then usually what I like to do is after I finish the draft, I wait a few days afterwards and then I come back to it and then I kind of look at it with like fresh eyes to make sure that I'm not missing anything. I find that editing when you're in the same space, when you're in the same headspace that you were when you're writing, isn't a very good thing because it's easy to overlook mistakes because your brain's kind of auto-filling what you actually mean as opposed to what's actually on the page. So of course I still make mistakes, and probably once I get like a bit more money, one of the first people I'm going to hire is an editor just to make sure that my writing is actually, you know, succinct. I think I'm kind of glad that I'm doing the format that I am, this kind of like this monthly installment thing, because when I finish a chapter and I post it, for better or for worse, I'm kind of just done with it and I'm able to just like move on from it. Yeah, that makes things so much easier in some regard. I mean, there's also kind of the negative side of it, which is that it feels like it's like this like constant battle. But it's like making videos. You work hard on making videos and then you post it and then like it's relevant for like 24, 48 hours and then now you have to move on to the next thing.
the same thing with the chapters, but you know, I think I'm doing things in the best way, in the way that best fits me. But for now, it is 3 p.m. and it is time for me to have lunch. I tend to eat lunch and dinner actually very, very late. I know like 3 p.m. Like for some people, they have like dinner at like 4 or 5, but I don't know. Anyway, I'm about to eat.
Okay, it is 4 p.m. I have just finished eating. I had a pretty light lunch, actually, a lot lighter than I wanted to have, but I realized that I'm pretty much out of all my protein sources. I mean, I still have one, but it's thawing, and I was like, okay, I guess I'm just gonna have to do this for dinner, and I'm just gonna have to throw some crap together for lunch. Anyway, now that it is 4, it is time for me to do the research section. So for the research section, basically what I am doing is I'm just looking stuff up, kind of expand my worldview to kind of like add some extra accuracy to my writing for certain things, although the setting that I'm writing doesn't necessarily need to be 100% historically or scientifically accurate to begin with, but you know, it helps. As part of the research, I might look at, so there's like this YouTuber, David Hoffman, filmmaker, who like he did a lot of documentaries during like the 50s, 60s, 70s, and even the 80s. And I think honestly, if you're interested in like what life was like in the US during that time period, he's one of the best channels that you can go to for that, because he has all sorts of like films that he recorded himself, like personal interviews from people, and like it's not just like the normal kind of like middle class like WASP like 1950s perspective. He gets it from all sorts of different people, from different racial and ethnic backgrounds, from different like economic brackets and stuff. And he posts a lot of like old documentaries and stuff that he himself didn't make, but like, you know, that he has like the film stock for and stuff. I definitely recommend going to that. But I'm going to do a bit of that. I'm also going to look into a bit of like color correcting as well. And so I want to look into that a bit so that when I edit this video, I can make it look better, you know? Anyway, that's what I'm about to do. Okay, it is now 5 p.m. and I have just finished doing my research section. Honestly, that was a really interesting research section. So I started out looking at, obviously, like I said, some, and as I showed, some Premiere Pro color correcting. And I was a bit scared because like I knew how to color correct once upon a time with Premiere Pro, but things have changed so much. It's really not as complicated as I thought, and now I feel a little bit better. I watched David Hoffman. He did a video on how robots changed the industry in the 1940s, and it was like a group of like executives talking about profit margins and everything. And I thought it was really interesting. Like as he pointed out in the video or in the description, like you could take that video, replace those people from the 1940s with like modern execs. Instead of talking about robots, you're talking about AI. It's like literally the same thing. Like whenever I watch videos like that, it really makes me realize that the more that things change, the more they stay the same. This wasn't just like a curiosity thing. It also helped with like the story as well, right? Because in the Nobunaga universe, right, you have your big four companies, right? At least in Japan, right? You have Shiratora Electronics, which is the one solo Japan-based country or a company, right? Then you have the three big diesel companies, which are all American, and that's for a reason. It's definitely a reflection of US-based imperialism in that region during that time period, but also, you know, show that Japan, although it is portrayed as a country that's both benefits and is also a victim to this US-based imperialism, is the country really truly a victim in this regard when the country in and of itself imposed its own imperialism on that same region, you know, less than a decade or a little over a decade earlier? I don't know, it's just one of those things to think about. I also, during my research, I looked at Tokyo-Bay, like as I showed, that Tokyo-Bay like building project, which I thought was like, you know, I just wanted to get a bit of insight into it, which actually led me to another video, but it talked about the metabolists who were in charge of like coming up with those ideas. And that video was like so interesting. I really want to finish it. But like one thing, like I learned, I did not know this, but like after the Great Kanto earthquake of 1923, the government kind of like limited it so that like skyscrapers could only be like 30, like no more than 30 meters high, because it's a very big earthquake prone country. And I don't know, I just thought that was interesting. I never knew about that. And I'm gonna have to start thinking about how I can incorporate aspects of that into my story. I just really like that. Like, I'm glad that I had this research section, because getting the chance to like really look into these like whole research, like into these things, it really energizes me. But anyway, now we're about to move to the second to last section, which is email/administrative work, which again, I don't really have right now. So it's probably just going to be job hunting, just to fill in the time. Yeah, I'll get to that and I'll see you guys in a bit. Okay, it is now 6 p.m. We have just finished the admin section. The way the job market is and everything. Like, I like see positions for part-time, like 15 an hour, like 15 hours per week, where you literally need like a PhD for it, which is like, it's so crazy how things work these days. And then like everything wants you to have experience, makes it very easy for you to an extent to kind of just like leap out and try the things that you would have been too afraid to do otherwise. Because it's like, if you're going to be struggling anyway, it might as well be a struggle for something that's worth it, to the extent that you're financially able to do it anyway, I think. Now we're about to go on to our last real section, which is going to be, from 6 to 7, which is going to be more writing, the last writing session. Yeah, I've actually got a lot of writing done. I'm not exactly sure how much writing I'm going to get done for this section, because normally I find for me like 2.5, like past like the 2-hour mark, like my writing can kind of get kind of weird. But like I don't know if like doing 3 hours, kind of spacing it out, will make it easier. I don't know, but you still have another hour of writing to do. This should be interesting. We will see. And I'll talk to you guys in a bit. Okay, so technically it is 6:57. It is not 7 p.m., which is when the actual section is supposed to end, but I'm calling it because, so what I'm learning from today is that about 2.5 hours is more or less kind of like, unless I'm really dedicated or like really into what I'm writing, like 2.5 hours is more or less kind of like my hard limit. I was kind of just writing kind of just to pad out the time rather than to actually write something decent, which that's not really all that productive. But we have pretty much officially ended the schedule. Technically, it's not over yet, because from 7 to 9 I have scheduled unwind. And then from 9 to 10 is dinner. Yes, I know it's really late dinner. It's whatever. Actually, sometimes I might even have dinner at 10. But for this schedule, it's 9 to 10. And then from 10 to 11:30, we have relax. Now, you might be wondering, what's the difference between unwind and relax? Well, it has to do with mental stimulation, basically. Like, unwind is me kind of like taking a break from everything and just doing whatever I want, but it can be something that like uses the brain. Like, I could play chess if I wanted to, I could play video games if I wanted to. Realistically, probably what I'm going to do is I'm going to watch Wellens play Alan Wake 2, because favorite Let's Player. Whereas relax, like that's like no video games, no puzzles. It's just like me, just something, it's like passive content. In this case, probably, I think I'm going to watch, Gap Smolders, like I had downloaded because #YouTube Premium. She did a playthrough of Fears to Fathom 4, and I have that downloaded, so I think I'm going to watch that tonight, because like it's kind of crazy. I never imagined that it'd be this person who just like absolutely horror pilled and just like obsessed with like horror stuff.
which I think you can see the influence in the Movement Like a universe. So yeah, my overall thoughts of this schedule. It was good. I'm not exactly sure. Again, I'm pretty convinced that it's not sustainable if I were to do this every single day. I'd have to do some revisions. It's just one of those things. I thought that this was a fun experiment. It does give me a pretty good idea of like my work pace a little bit better. I am definitely someone who likes to front load like their days by doing most stuff in the morning because that's when I'm most active. I'm not really like during like the evening time, I just like to chill. Yeah, I think that'll be it. I don't know if there's anything else that I want to say. There really isn't, so I'll just end it here. See ya.